And we're here with Jen Davis and Alex Smith. And they're going to be our first couple on August 10th for Love Letters. Thank you guys so much for doing this.
Thanks for having us. It's going to be fun.
It. Yes. So, as you know, I've been asking all the couples a few questions. So the first question is, how did you guys meet?
As almost stereotypically as you can for a theater couple. We met before that doing the show.
Yeah, we were in the outfit together for the very first iteration of Joe's Diner in the winter of 2010? 11?
One of those. 10.
2010? I guess January of 2011, and we were completely unaware of each other's existences.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yep.
Then we did youth theater here. You became a youth theater director.
Yes.
And I was her designer for...
Highly theatrical terms.
Which,
my highly successful theatrical
Which,
debut
at the same time, we were both working on Doubt with Gold from Straw Theater Company. I as a lighting, sound designer, and technician, and her as assistant director.
Yes.
So we would, every once in a while, race from rehearsal to...
and I won always.
She always won because she sped, and I like to obey the law.
Well...
Then we just kind of hung out and knew each other for a little while, and then we both played... Oh, it's awful how stereotypical it is.
So we were cast, again with the outfit, in Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead.
And the 15-minute Hamlet, which went before that.
And Alex was playing Hamlet, and I was playing Ophelia.
Of course.
And none of
that was the trigger.
No.
Because that would just be awful and stereotypical. Though it's happened for other people and it's been okay.
Isn't it okay to be stereotypical?
Sometimes it is, yes.
Though we only shared a mere minute and a half with each other on stage, we were incredibly dedicated to getting it just right.
We workshopped the scene. We actually did.
Outside of rehearsal.
I forgot about that.
There was no time. Like, it was
like
a
lot,
minute.
so we workshopped it.
Anyway, and we began to bond.
And we just kept hanging out after the workshopping. We were trying things as Hamlet and Ophelia, and then it was like, all right. And then we would go out for drinks or whatever. We went to pizza once.
It's true. I was having a bad day, so you said,
let's go to
take you to lunch.
And we went to pizza.
Didn't go to PSP.
It's all the same place. Anyway, Harmon, that's what it was.
No.
Don't argue.
It was right next.
It was Harmon. Who's always right in this relationship?
It's the pizza place.
Who's always right?
Not you.
And who is never wrong? Both of those are me.
No.
Anyway.
Incorrect.
Other important things. And... that was pretty much the beginning of us becoming friends, and we would hang out through mutual friends like Doyle and all of them.
Yes.
And then one night, we went to Patty Coyne's. And I
suppose it was a date?
Kind of, I guess.
Sort of a date.
I didn't really think it was. Turns out it was. She got me very drunk.
That's not even a little bit true.
Actually, I had my 2 beers, which is apparently the limit for me.
I had no idea that Alex was such a flaming lightweight.
I had 2 beers.
He had a beer, and I had a whiskey, and I was like, I will have another, and he said, you know what? So will I. Alex does this to this day. He'll be like, it's a great idea to have a third mojito. I'm like, babe,
she's going to criticize my mojitos now. Anyway, continuing with the story. So then she's like, want to head back to my place? I go, yeah.
That's not what I said. I said, do you want to come over and hang out?
And then she said, get some wine. I'm like, wine's a great idea. She goes, get some white wine.
I did not say white wine. Who would ever drink white wine?
So anyway, I get this bottle of $2 Chuck white wine, because I'm not going to spend a lot of money on her.
No.
And she keeps filling my glass. So about, half a bottle of wine later.
Okay, Alex had 2 beers and 2 glasses of wine.
Yes.
We're watching a movie. He gets up, exits to the bathroom. The sound of all of his stomach contents being violently thrown into
it sounded like a bucket of water being dropped into another bucket of water.
No, that's what mine is.
With gagging.
When I vomit, it's like...
I mean, they don't need to know that. And
when Alex vomits, it's like...
Okay, they don't need more details.
Alright.
Either way, I was sick as a dog, apparently mixing that much liquor. And so... I think I might have sort of lost consciousness because I woke up to a shoe being taken off of my foot, another shoe being taken off of my foot, and then being dumped into a bed on my keys. And I know some of you have seen my keys. They're not small. I still have a scar right here on my hip where I slept on my keys.
I had not been in Alex's pants at this point in our relationship, but I had no idea what he was keeping in them.
That's the
So let me.
So at the end of it, the very end of the story, it's quick. I woke up. Where the hell? Oh, I'm with you. We actually ended up having a really great conversation, making jokes, realizing it's like, okay, this wasn't
totally closed,
and it wasn't even weird, which was really cool. So we hung out. We ended up, I think we had breakfast or coffee or something.
Yeah.
And then did the show. And ever since then, I would come over, she'd help me with callbacks and auditions and stuff, and we kind of grew together, and it was really cool, actually.
And our 2-year anniversary is next week.
Oh, shit.
I happen to know that.
So do I.
Now you do.
No, I remembered it. I did.
So, I've been asking couples, when was that moment where you knew I want to get to know this person a whole lot better than I already know them? And I start with a guy. So I'm going to ask Alex first. When was that moment when you said, you know what, I want to get to know Jen more?
You know, I think it might have been one of the backstage times during RNG. Because we would always, sometimes our scenes coalesced, and when they didn't, we would just kind of hang out and stuff. And she was always just really fun and really cool and very interesting character of a person, which you don't want to be bored with the person you're hanging out with. And I think right around there was like, I want to get to know her better. And we did, and then it just developed from there.
And Jen, when was that moment that you knew, you know, more than just throwing him on his keys, I want to get to know him?
Yeah, I think the first time that we actually had an interaction and both discovered that we had a lot in common and were interested as friends in each other was when we met.
That was in here. She was in this chair. I was in that chair. We were designing for Theatrical Terms,
the theater show.
We got on so many tangents.
This is my story.
Fine.
So so anyway, we met at the theater, and he texted me, and he was like, "What kind of coffee do you drink?"
Black.
And I said black coffee, which he saved in his phone for later, which I didn't know until a couple weeks ago, which is very sweet.
Is it still in there?
Yeah, of course it's still in there.
But, so anyway, we met at the theater, and it was like a Saturday morning, and we were sitting in this booth designing lines, and we got on so many tangents, and what could have taken like 45 minutes wound up taking like 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours.
And it was great, because you always want to, when you meet someone that you are actually interested in them, and what they have to say, and what they do, it's really cool. And
what?
Not at that moment, no. The beginning of our relationship was completely platonic. But yeah, that was... Yes. That's how that started. And then my love of competition drew us closer.
Oh, God, we competition so much.
So, have you described your first date? The first time someone said, hey, I want to take you on a date, not
that didn't happen.
Come back to my place.
That didn't happen.
You've never had a first date.
Well, the take you on the date the first date was when we went to Patty's.
No, but you were super not interested in me at that time.
Well, that's not super not. Yeah.
Okay, so you have not called her up and said, I want to take you out on a romantic date. You've never done that.
No.
Are you saving yourself?
No, to be fair, throughout though the beginning of our relationship was somewhat unconventional in terms of channels of dating, etc. Yeah. Throughout our relationship, we do stuff like that all the time.
Oh, absolutely.
We go out, whatever. We make time for each other.
Which in theater, is not easy. But
right.
It's always happened for us.
Yeah.
We've always had time for each other. So
that
I
sort
don't
of
know.
makes up for the fact that you didn't ask me
Then
out.
that's fine.
A little bit. Not so much.
Just me.
One last question then.
Yes.
Just for fun.
Just for fun.
GC,
Just for fun. Yes, I do.
What I live with.
Oh,
I
it's
do.
so much worse from her.
So, who's more romantic?
I'm romantic.
Are you kidding? I am so suave and romantical and debonair.
Okay, let me give you an image.
He's gonna run out of time.
His birthday. He comes home. The entire it's like it was closing night of your show, so it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, which I knew that was fine. But the entire apartment is lit in candles, and there is a case of Mike's Hard Lemonade sitting on the coffee table.
Now I'm out.
And I'm sitting on the couch, and so
what was
romantic?
Actually, what was
America?
more romantic when I came home for Valentine's Day and you had made a blanket fort and took paper airplanes and wrote love notes to me.
I did. I wanted to get those Valentines that you give out in the 3rd grade to everyone, and I found paper airplane Valentines.
God, how gross are we?
So I wrote little sayings and inside jokes on the inside of all these paper airplane
There
Valentines.
were like 25. I still have them all
and
stacked.
Put them all over the apartment and on top of the fort.
And we ate Chinese dinner inside the fort. It was really cool.
Yeah. So I'm more romantic.
She wins, but I'm handsomer.
Yes.
All right, guys. And one last thing before we finish off. How does Alex like to play video games?
Loudly?
Which one's more important, you or a video game?
Oh,
me or video games?
Yes.
I'm more important than video games.
Jen, is she more important than video games?
Yeah. Much more important than video games. I can play them when she's gone. I do.
That's true. Alex is never...
Have I ever played video games instead of hanging out with you?
Never even a little bit. Lots
How
of
good am
boyfriends do
I?
it. Alex is not one of those boyfriends.
She won't play with me, though. She tried once, and it was one of those, where am I?
Yeah, that was
Take a
very
lesson,
frustrating
men.
to me.
Take a lesson from
That
that.
was Portal, too.
That
I
was
was
not
like,
good.
yeah, no.
Yeah, she wasn't
I
a
did
happy
not,
camper.
I'm not
But that's
good
fine.
at that.
It's good. It's good alone time. Sometimes you have to have that, and sometimes she'll be off doing her thing, and I'll blow aliens up.
Yeah, we're good at that.
Yes.
And you guys are great. Thank you so much. Well, come see them on their date, August 10th, opening night, and we'll be happy to see you
You do
there.
the one, I'll do the 0. Ready, set, go.
Oh, I guessed right. Oh, it's the whole one.
10th.
Your 0 sucks.